Welcome back. Well, we are now approaching day 36. Right? Is that what today is? Day 36. And I've been kind of slowly working things out throughout the week. Generally, what I like to do, I don't like to allow any book work, or at least extensive book work, when I'm working, at my faggot job. I like to just not overdo it, because I have a tendency to overdo it, I don't get days off because I work on the book, so I tell myself, since you're not doing that, don't do two jobs at once. But I'm allowed to take notes, and I'm allowed to think about stuff, and stuff's been slowly compiling in the grand story, and man, do I think it can be very good if I do it right. It's just, the biggest part is if I do it right. I don't know, man. I really don't know. Sometimes it's so much. Anyway, one of the topics that I really wanted to think about today is one that I always actively try to explain to myself, or I ask myself all the time, who am I? Just, who am I? A blanket term. What do you mean, who am I? You are this guy. This is your name, and this is your body. That's who you are. And my thinking is like, no, deeper than that. Even deeper. Who am I? What am I? And I've talked about this in many different ways, but that's the most important integral part of my living day-to-day life that I'm always trying to look at. It's just like, who the fuck am I about this? Because when you step back from the world, you kind of zoom out a little bit, and you go into that mode of like, don't just sit and take shit for granted and live your life. Think about it objectively for a minute. This whole world that we're in, how fucking bizarre it is. And the fact that you as a human being, if that's what you want to call yourself, exist in it with a bunch of other ones, and there's all these dynamics that we've created. All these different structures and societal things and like conscious ideas, and just it's fucking nuts, man. It's so crazy to think about this weird shit that we're doing in our world. And we have this crazy history that goes back so far. I'm reminded when I'm reading this. And you are here now. Shit's all happened before you, and shit's gonna happen after you. You're just kind of in this moment right now. What are you? Who are you? I think those are integral questions to ask yourself. And if I sit and ask myself, like, okay, who am I? And we go even deeper than like my first and last name and my gender and the body that I inhabit. That's me. We're gonna go deeper than that. That question, it's not like you can truly answer it. It's just, it leads you to a journey. I don't think you could ever answer that question truthfully in a way that's satisfactory. We've done it. No more work need to be done. That might be the very part of why we are here. In some way, shape, or form. Like, what is it that we're doing in this world that might have some shape in it? Some part to play in the answering of that question, why are we here? I can't ever think of a time in my life where I didn't question everything around me, or I didn't question everything I do, or how I perceive things, or how I feel about them, or how I react, or what kind of environment am I always in? One thing that can lead me to this question here, this answer to the question, is when I look at the way that I am perceived by others in my environments. So at work, for me, I try to be quiet. I don't say shit to nobody. I don't take part in, the little chatty circles and all that shit. I don't allow my personality to be at work. I take that and I hide it, I don't think anyone knows that I'm a funnier person at work. It's just kind of, that's for me. I don't want no one I don't want to be that with these people. I'm kind of a shadow of myself. There's many aspects to why I do that. Not only because of like just the personal reasons that people are normally quiet, like I don't feel social, all the way to like I don't want to allow anyone to have this part of me in the place that I'm not happy. Now that might sound strange, but that's one of the major reasons why I don't necessarily behave, as myself in these situations. It's just, this is for me. This is not for these fucking people. I'm not here to entertain you. And I hide myself so much. But the biggest thing, if I go even deeper than that, is I say, there's a lot of shame in that I have about myself. A lot of it. I mean, I have to the point where I'm even ashamed to act myself when I'm alone. Or to be 100% happy, or to be to truly enjoy some aspect. There's a lot of shame. I always feel these eyes on me, like I always feel like I'm being watched from another, not necessarily, like they exist in the room and they're hiding behind the curtains back there. Like, no, it's more, I just feel like I'm being watched from some faraway other place by groups of people. And so anytime I act a little too much of myself, I have shame. Or if I commit shameful things in private or whatever, or even non-shameful, the weight that it has on me. I don't like to smile at work, like if I go back to being at work. I don't like to be too happy there. There's a lot of shame in that. And that's one of the major things that can be bothersome in my life, is incredible amounts of shame. So much so that when you look at other people, you think they lack it. Dude, like, you need to chill the fuck out. Like, you're being a little too flamboyant, or whatever it happens to be. Like, chill out a little bit. I don't know what exactly that was born in, but that shit's born in this material world. Some sort of thing, like when I was young, something happened where I feel shame when I'm happy. I know a lot of it, like, to show you how you investigate this stuff. When I was younger, I liked dressing up as, like, whatever it was, like a sailor, or a guy in the army, or like, I can't really remember, hockey, Star Wars, right? And I was doing that for a long time, but the thing is, I got made fun of in the neighborhood for doing that. Like, I loved wearing the sailor outfits when I was under the age of 11. I couldn't tell you how old I was. I might have even been 12, I don't know. And I got called faggot a lot because I did that, because I just enjoyed it, right? I've always enjoyed outfits. Never doing the thing. Like when I played baseball, I loved the outfits. I loved it. I'm like, oh cool, I got the fucking high socks on, I got pants and shit. But then when it came time to play baseball, I was like, yeah, I'm not here to play. I just want to look like this. I don't want to fucking play the game. And I got made fun of a lot because of that. A lot. And even to the point, like when I loved Star Wars, I made my own Stormtrooper outfit out of cardboard. I was like, I'll make the helmet, I'll make all the armor and shit, and I had a whole, it looked so cool, man. And I was really proud of myself, and I had it all white and everything, and this. But it's because I love dressing up. I love to be something, and act and pretend, and it's, I should have became an actor in a sense, because I enjoyed so much being something and encompassing it and taking part in pretending to be this thing. It is something that I really enjoyed doing. It's weird that I never put two and two together that I should have done acting. Never thought of that until just now. Like, I guess I should have done that with my life, but I didn't. It's something I know I'm really good at, but I don't want to ever see. Again, shame. Shame. It's like, no, don't you fucking do that. Because you know you're going to be good at it, and you need to be shameful of it. Don't fucking thrive. It's all about survival, It's hard to break apart those aspects of, like, what you do, what you don't do, and what you should do, and what you shouldn't do. Because it's like, it's so confusing. It's so jarring to, like, sit and think about life all the time and, like, what am I in it? I can't imagine anything. It's just like, how do I word this? So what I'm doing now, I'm writing a book, and the book is a fantasy setting, and there's a whole thing going on, and I get to explore characters, and I get to make up scenarios, and I get to dive into a whole world that's kind of starting to breathe on its own now. Because the fact is, we set about and made this place, and we tried to make it as realistic as we could. We tried to think about all the cultures and all their ideas they have. We laid out as much as we could the history of these lands and all this stuff, just to make it feel believable. Like all the way down to discussing trade wars, trade lanes, and like how do people trade together, and how does this country react to that one if they're trading with these people, and blah blah blah, all this junk that's just like, we're figuring out together. And then you place yourself in it and you start making up ideas. Ideas and concepts, and what is it that you're trying to explore within these worlds? If I put you in one culture, like what are you trying to say in there? What are you trying to feel? And every time I'm always taken to this place where it's like the self-evaluation of like, what is it that I am? Because anytime you're taking part in something, as I said before, you being the filter from life and into the, imagination, you're placing into this imagination that with which you pull out and put. So it's like this continuous cycle, right? And you're the conduit to it. At least that's what I'm told. The conduit kind of has to know who the conduit is, or at least enough, so you know what you're cycling, what to filter a bit, or what to like really just take out of proportion. You have to understand these elements, and in doing that, like you can do it wrong. You can do a little bit too much negativity, you can do a little too much positivity, or whatever it happens to be. And that's all aspects in which the question of who you are comes to focus in some sense. I don't necessarily know that I'm the same person every time I sit in front of this camera, because I don't feel like the same person. You say a collection of words that have meaning to you or someone that watches it, and then here it goes, and bam, it's in the past, and that happened a week ago now. And here I sit again, and I'm just thinking, like, I don't remember the things I said, necessarily. I don't even know if I still believe in them. Because what is belief? I don't know. Is that a continuous thing that I'll always have within me? Doesn't feel like it. It feels like it changes day to day, because new aspects grow. So the one thing I know about like who I am as a human is I understand the idea of like, you can't just say, and this is this, and this is what it is. Let's put it over here now. Okay, that's it. It's a concept, and we agree that this is what the concept is. Here's the definition for it. This is democracy. We all agree to what that is. It's written in here what it's about. I can't do that. I'll pick it up and be like, okay, maybe. But every time I read it, there's something new that comes to question. There's something different that I look at a different angle. Like I read it, I'm like, I don't know. Like that feels like it's too fluid. Like, what do you mean this is what it is? I don't understand that. And you describe it to me today, and tomorrow happens. And what you describe to me today, well, tomorrow has new thoughts. Tomorrow holds different questions. I looked at it at a little different angle and thought, okay, well, you said it's like this on this angle. But what about over here? That doesn't look that way to me. And that's my thing that as a human I do. I keep questioning things. It doesn't matter how simple it is. I look at the letter A long enough, I'm going to be questioning it. Like, what do you mean A? Like, what is that exactly? How do you know it is what it is? Like, what is language? Why do we just agree to things? And that's been something that has been a hindrance in my life, but also it's helped me gain a new perspective. To, in a sense, question that which was, how would you say that? All that is before you. Question it all. It doesn't matter what the fuck it is. It doesn't give it, like, you don't question some things and then agree on others without fucking ever thinking about it. And in doing that, learning self comes into focus. Because if you do that with shit that's without you, imagine what you try to do with shit that's within you. How exactly do I feel about this every day? And I find that to be one of the greatest proponents to depression. It's just because you keep fucking, you don't have this sense of like base, like this is fucking it. There is no deviation from this. Your mind is allowing you to kind of keep going off from this place in search. It's longing. And that's the hardest part of thinking all the time and not having this structure, because you don't have this safe tin home. You keep fucking going away from it and trying to find how to justify that home. Like, how do I look at this and know that it's exactly what I need to be? I'm going to go 2 miles this way. I'm going to go 50 miles that way. I'm going to go fly over here. I got to go down there and see what that is. And all the while, you keep looking back at home. And home is the soul, in a sense. It's the you. It's the comfort. It's the every moving aspect that is you as a human being, and your consciousness and your soul. All of that's home. And I find in my case, I'm leaving it all the time to go off and in search of justifying the fact that it's even there in the first place. And why? What am I looking for? And I don't know if this is part of some sort of ancient, like, cultural thing. I'll hear it with Irish people a lot, this kind of weird, like, searching for home kind of thing, this missing, this something, this weeping for it. And I can't help but feel that way as well, where it's just like you can't help but just be just distraught that you're here in the first place, or that you left whatever it was before this, that kind of home. You left it and you just long for it all the time. Some people look at this life like an adventure. And God bless their little hearts for doing that. Where they see it as a thrill. They see it as an exploration. They see it as something to discover here. And there are other people who say, sure, but what does that mean about me? How does all of that justify me? How do I know what I am? I'm here. There's a crazy world out there. I could explore it. But how does that help me find me? Is the answer out there? Or is the answer in here? I tend to think more it's in here. This is the device that you use to think, so why the fuck would it not be the thing that can help you discern what the fuck you are, how you are, where you are? And there's like, you're born in this world and there's a sense of sadness. I always have this sense of melancholy, sorrow, this grief that just takes me almost every day. With multiple aspects of things, whether it's just something beautiful. I watched the Red Wings last night, and they won their game, and it was a very emotional game for me, and you could feel it, even watching and not even being there, you could feel there was this beautiful energy there, and it almost makes me want to cry. A good, happy, great moment of celebration and victory, it makes me sad. It always does. Seeing little children being happy or enjoying things or being cared about, being taken care of. All those things will make me cry, make me sad. Not bad sad, good sad. When I see people achieving their goals, I get great grief and sorrow, but it doesn't feel negative. It's not, oh, they're so good and I'm not. Or some other weird element. It's always you weep for the part they're shedding away. And that is who I am. And I can't help that, It's like, it's a curse to feel so deeply and to feel so much of every fucking thing that happens around you. And to take it and carry it and walk around with that fucking grief about some stranger you don't even know about. It fucks with me. And I take as much as I can to try to give to someone else, to explain this. But in some sense, to me, it feels like maybe I'm spreading a disease or a curse. And maybe I need to hold this shit. It almost feels like there's a dark, evil thing in the world, and you're taking that from that person, and you're like, no, I'll hold on to this, and I'll take this shit. And everyone warns you not to do that. You know, people that are spiritually inclined are always like, you gotta stop doing that. And it's like, but there's no other reason to live if not to do that. I am in a constant struggle to care for self in a selfish way. I have a hard time. It's innate. It's like I can't not do something for someone without question. Even like as I'm doing, I'm like, man, I'm just helping this person with no reason. I'm just doing this. I don't know why I'm doing it. Whether it's a complete stranger or it's my wife. They need help, and it could be a small little way. I'm looking for something, and I know exactly where it is. I go and get it, and I give it to them, and there you go. To some big thing. I try to help them from without them even noticing. I try to do that at work a lot, where someone will drop something clearly important to them, and I'll slide it back in, and they won't even know what happened. Or out of nowhere, I come out of nowhere, and I see they need help, and I just go over to them, and I do whatever it may be. They fell. Usually old people, they fall a lot on the stores, you know, and I always try to help them there. When someone's clearly kind of having a hard time, you don't know what's going through their mind, but they're disheveled in a sense, and they're looking for some product. I see that so much, where they're just looking to shelves, and you know it's more than just, I don't know where this is. There's something deeper behind it. Maybe they're making that food for a reason. Maybe they're trying to escape something. Maybe something bad just happened in their life, and they're just trying to be okay. And I can see that, and I'm always like, I'm just going to go help them in a small way. I'm going to say some nice things. We're going to have a good conversation. I'm going to actively show that I'm interested in their life, meanwhile helping whatever they need help with, and then they go off. I don't know what it is, but that's the fucking shit that I can't not do. Like I can't just be like, yeah, fuck them. You know, who cares? You need to focus on yourself. I don't know how to do that. When I examine self, I always see that I'm trying to help people so much. But I don't like the admiration, and I don't like being noticed doing it. Does that make sense? It's like you search for help, you search to aid people, but like you don't want everyone knowing that you've done that. In fact, you wish they would shut the fuck up about it. Like, it's not a big deal. Who cares? Like, it just helps someone. Not a fucking big deal. I would hate to be like, oh God, fuck that. I don't want that shit. Because why? Shame. It's like confusing. It's conflicting. It's like there's a sense of shame of like, yeah, you want to help people. You do good for the world. Great. Let's celebrate that. And I'm like, no, I'm too shameful. I don't want that, because then I don't think that's a good thing. I don't want to even go down that road. I'm uncomfortable, I don't like it, and I want to run away. That's my natural reaction to it. For some reason, the positive things that I do in my life, I have great shame for. What do I do about that? I have no fucking idea, like, just how to handle that situation. But the fact is, if we go back, that is who I am. For good or for bad, you know? That's the person that I am. It's not everything. I could go further about a bunch of other fucking things if we need to. But that's an example of exploring self and realizing who the fuck you are. You have to look at everything you do objectively. You know, I don't want to go too negative on this video and start shaming the things that I do that aren't good. We could be here all day. And I might do that in the future, but like right now, the point I'm trying to make is you just look at the shit you're fucking doing. And you look at the way you react to people, specific situations, all the way to ones that are out of your control that you have nothing to do with, but you have interpreted it in a way that's linked back to your trauma. We see it in grand scale in this world. It's like something happens out here, it reminds you of your little demon that you're fighting here, and you're like, well, that's this. I'm gonna be fucking mad at that. And now all of a sudden the internet exists, and these fucking people are taking over the world with their grief and sorrow. We just think it's a positive movement, but it's really not. That's kind of what element of examining self can give you. It can really bring about the greatest change. Because you could take this information, I can take what I just said, and I've done, in different ways, with different things, and say, okay, that's how we feel, that's what we're doing, why don't we change that? Let's break down, compartmentalize it in a way where we can subcategorize everything and change every little element that adds to this one greater. You know, shame. Okay, break it down into all these little areas and then just start examining all the small things. Create notes along the way. Okay, we have a lot of shame because of this X reason and that one and this one. All right, how do we make changes? Come over here. Start writing notes down about how do you create change within yourself if you have something you want to complete. It just takes work. Like fucking everything. But the point is, questioning who you are is the most integral fucking thing you can do in this world. Because everyone just thinks, who I am? I'm Jacob Smith. That's who I am. What do you mean? Who is that though? That's me, this body, Jacob Smith. Like, okay, but who is that? Well, I like these things. I love the Lions. I love my job. I love my wife. That's not who you are. What's the things you're doing? Like, who the fuck are you? Like, that's with what you need to work with. There's a great purpose to everything. We just have to begin to fucking see it. Maybe one day, you'll answer that question. You'll find something that you shouldn't be doing, and you'll damn well change it. And then all of a sudden, something about you feels better. But the only person that can do that is you. We can help each other, but we can't cure each other. Anyway, so on to the writing day today. Let's see what happens.